Now remember where we left off last time we were together. And this time I want to start with saying what we did last time was what us artists call playtime. And if you've had very good art training, which I have had at the Chicago Art Institute for years, is we learn that there's playtime. And remember I told you I painted with Jackson Pollock for a while as a student, and he showed us the playtime of knocking his paint over his canvas, and it was all drizzled all over the place. But he would stop and take a breath and get into it again, and then start working with his dribble paints and throwing his paint. And it was very wonderful because he said when he lost contact with his playtime, or his feeling when he was painting this way that has all the squirts and throwing his paint and so on, is when he lost his spirit connection. So this is what I want to talk about, is this, you can make this cartoon, you can have fun. You say, I don't know what this is. I don't care what it is because I'm going to play with it now and see what happens. That's very important to artists, is playing and let the thing talk back to you. Okay? Okay, so make sure your pencils are sharp. Now this is an F or 3H pencil. 3H means that's fairly hard. So what I'm going to do is just start some shading. And I can also use it sideways. So the basic thing, I'm going to work fairly fast with this just to show you where you can go with it. Okay, then good old fingers. So and look at this. Okay, so then we blend it in. Okay. So we're blending that gray tone in. Then we'll take a B pencil. That's much darker. See that? So this is much darker. So I'll see where this is going to go. In the meantime, I may take something else. Just so I know I'm going to go around the whole composition here. I always have to kind of have fun with things. There's my playtime. So then doing the same thing again, we can, what we call blend. And this, you can keep blending on anything you want here. You can do this, then you can move over here and say, okay, I want to make this darker around this edge. Around here, come around here, and then I'll take more blending with my fingers, and you see how that can start to blend in, and it can start the illusion that this thing might be somewhat rounded. That's what shading does. It can make you see the illusion of the three-dimensional, which is really flat, but all art on flat pieces of canvas become illusional depending on how you put your color down and how you work with it. So I'll very quickly show you how this goes when we use a B pencil. They're marked on the top here. That's a 6B, that's a pretty strong dark. So we want to use this to get the outer edge of this thing and then blend it. Then we have this little box here that you'll carry around, some sort of a box, and that's the only kind of pencil sharpener to get. And that you can get at most, it's called, it's an MR. It's made in Germany. One has a larger hole, and one has a smaller one. So I always carry that with me so I can sharpen my pencils. And then we have this magic little thing called a kneaded, K-N-E-A-D-E-D, a kneaded eraser, because you need it, like you do bread, okay? You need it. And I always tell my students, carry this in your pocket because your pocket is warm. And you want this thing warm so you can pull it apart. And what you can do is put this down on this tone. See that? You see how that took that off? So that's the magic of this. And then, of course, turn that in. So that part, and then I may go over here and take some of this out. Then I can go back in and do some more toning. A little more refined. Come down the side. I'll cover that all in eventually. But there again, smear. Okay? So you use your hand, use your fingers, and you'll get used to how to use them as you use them. That's like a kid. You remember when you were a kid, you tried something in the sandbox, if it didn't work, you went, ah. And so you tried again, and you tried again. Oh, that's how it works. That's how it works. So that gives you a clue about this. How you can use this to take off parts and then darken around it. And eventually, you'll find that with toning, you can actually draw with the tone, because you can move that tone around, and you can always go over it. There's that B pencil. You can always go over it with a darker tone. And I can bring my dark tone right up to the edge of this. And you'll see how that goes. And I can pull a dark tone all the way down here. So I'll make this come right up against it and feather out on the outer edges. So you see how this starts to get some shape to it. And you can always go in and clean things up with the eraser. And if you don't like what you've got down there, remember what I said? What do? We turn this over so we've got a clean side, and then we can take something out. Take some more out. Some more out. And then we might decide, oh, that's kind of neat. So I'll make this just come over here and see what happens. Now see, I'm not sure where I'm going, but that doesn't matter, because then I could step back and say, oh, I see there's a shape coming up here now. That's interesting. And I've always have my eraser. Here we go again. Got this little thing going here. And then I may pull some more off here. So you see what I'm doing. I'm back and forth. I got fingers going here. This, I'll come back to this, and I'll probably have a critter going on here. And I see now, edges here. So you can also use it like this, like a regular eraser. But it's easier to just pick it off. You know, pressure, pull. Okay? So then you say, well, what do you do about these? What do you do about these? That's coming as it to patience. That's coming as we build up this and start getting excited about the kind of toning we're getting in here and how it's starting to have the illusion of a bit around us, or three-dimension. Then we slowly work on this. And don't forget the most important thing. You can always turn it around. So you can come at something from another side and then turn it around again. So keep it moving. And you can also put a piece of paper underneath your hand so that you're not putting it this way, so that you're not messing this into the next part. So you always remember that sometimes you get more stuff on your hand and then it's coming off here. So just put a piece of paper under it. Okay, that's it. Okay, have fun. See if you can get some three-dimensional. Thanks a lot.